Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews, my channel where I review my favorite retro video games of all time as well as some modern releases I have recently finished. Today I want to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I have talked about it a couple times on my channel, some of the things I really liked about it, some of my complaints with it, and now I wanted to talk about my journey to Master Rank, because I finally hit it in Master Duel. It's taken me quite a while. I don't know quite how long I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel now, but it's been probably close to a year, I think, at this point. I'm finally hitting the Master Rank. I did this all without spending a single penny. I have done this purely on acquiring gems through playing the game, doing missions, whatever, doing the special events, and I have been able to make a competent deck that I think is actually pretty good and holds up pretty well. I'm making my way through Master Rank, and I'll be showing you some of my actual gameplay here. I don't get to showcase everything that I'll be talking about in these two matches that I'm going to be showing you, but I'll be talking about most of it. So I'm not going to be breaking it down piece by piece. It'll just be in the background here. But I want to talk to you about how I got to Master Rank. I'll start off with the beginning of my Master Duel journey. I really wanted to play a Blue Eyes deck. I knew Blue Eyes probably wasn't going to be the best. It wasn't until later on I discovered like in the TCG with the new support and everything, it's actually pretty darn good. They actually have some really good support for Blue Eyes. But at the time, I'm just joining Master Duel. I got a Blue Eyes deck. I invested in Bestials with my gems and everything, and I made a Blue Eyes Bestial deck. And largely it worked. It got me all the way up to the platinum rank, and then I struggled and I couldn't progress much further into that. For obvious reasons. Blue Eyes has a lot of limitations, at least what I was playing. I was playing Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, I was playing Jet and everything. Not that Jet's a bad card, but I was playing a very basic Blue Eyes package. I wasn't doing anything special. I had my hand traps, I made sure I invested in those first and foremost. I had my Ash Blossoms, my Max C's, everything I needed there. After a while, I just realized it wasn't going to cut it if I wanted to try and make it up to the next rank after Platinum. And so I started investing in Tenpais because I thought the dragons looked really cool. I'm a big dragon guy, so that's just kind of what I do. But I really liked the Tenpai package. I thought it was really nice. I thought it was very simple. It is a very simple idea. I invested in some of the more hand traps, some of the more quick play spells like Forbidden Droplet and a few of the other ones, power spells for sure, to ensure that I could break boards and get my Tenpai dragons out and then start winning games. And it was really nice too because I felt like I was losing all of my coin tosses, so going second was really important, and to learn a deck that went second on purpose really helped me. Helped me to learn how to play Master Duel in a lot of ways. But then when the new support came out with the Maiden of White and Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon and everything, that's when I really jumped right back into Blue Eyes and playing that in earnest. So my package consisted of the pretty typical Blue Eyes standard. You have a couple Blue Eyes in there. I had 3 Spirit of White. I've got 3 Maiden of White, 3 Sage, 3 Effect Veilers. I have the 3 Imperms, my standard hand traps. You've got the Ash Blossoms, a couple Max C's now that it's limited to 2. Thank goodness they should get rid of Max C altogether in Master Duel. Very standard wishes for Eyes of Blue, whatever that the spell card is called, the very standard thing here. And I would get my Spirit Dragons out. I would sometimes go into double Spirit Dragon, get Ultimate Spirit Dragon and Stardust Destroyer Cipher, whatever his name is, to ensure that it doesn't explode. I would do all those things, and I started to find a lot more success. I really enjoyed the new Blue Eyes support. I had a lot of fun with the learning how to use Blue Eyes the Spirit Dragon, the Synchro monster, the level 9 Synchro. I really enjoyed that. I worked on that really, really hard because I knew that there was also more support coming in the future with Primite cards. And I grinded Master Duel, I got up to the Diamond rank, and I couldn't quite get past Diamond. I got about halfway through in like a season or two ago, and then I got reset back. I'm like, man, I'm trying really hard. I'm getting there. Not quite there. But then the Primite package came, and I have found a ton of success with this, and I wanted to kind of talk about what I do with this deck. I'll be showing, like I said before, it's probably on screen already, some of my matches here. This deck is not a combo deck, although sometimes I do combo. In my old Blue Eyes deck, I actually ran the Magia package. I was going for Ultimate Fusion. I'd get Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in the graveyard and get Chaos Max in the graveyard, and then I would summon out Magia and get Spirit Dragon on board, and I'd have pretty much an unbreakable board unless you had just the right amount of board breakers and everything. That was really fun, and it did succeed quite well, but it lost to a lot of hand traps. The Primite package is just much better, much more consistent, and it turns the Blue Eyes deck into less of like, I need to combo off, and if I get Nibiru, I lose, and it turns it into, let's play control. If you're not familiar with Primite cards, I know I'm talking a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh jargon here, but if you're not familiar with the Primite cards, what essentially it is, for my package at least, I would run the 3 Barrel Dragons, which search out Lordly Load, which gets you out Drill Beam. If you have those 3 in sequence, if I summon out Barrel, I get Lordly Load, I activate Lordly Load, I add Drill Beam to my hand, and then I can set Drill Beam, and Drill Beam essentially is a free negate and banish, which is huge in Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of cards will negate, but it leaves the card on the field, or it like will send it to the graveyard if it's not like a continuous spell or a monster on the field. This will not only negate the monster or the trap or the spell, it sends it to the banish zone, which is a big death sentence for most decks. Most decks do not deal with the banish zone at all, and I found a lot of success with that. And so Primite is the Drill Beam is really, really important, and you can activate this if you have a Primite card in hand, or if you have a level 5 or higher normal monster on the field, which would be your Blue Eyes White Dragon. So, and Lordly Load also allows you to special summon in defense position 1 normal monster that you declare, but then you can't activate effects of like effect monsters for the rest of the turn. But if you have that on the field and you have Drill Beam, boom, I don't have to have a Primite card in hand. Now I can activate Drill Beam because I have a Blue Eyes on the field. Very, very powerful. Now, if I activate, like, let's say I activate Barrel, I get Lordly Load on the field, I get Drill Beam, and my opponent already has a card on the field that's problematic, I can activate Drill Beam on that turn, banish the card, and then if I have a Primite monster on the field, I can reset Drill Beam from the graveyard, which is huge. Fantastic that you're able to recycle it like that. What's even better is that Primite, the Barrel Dragon, you actually get it back on your standby phase if it's in the graveyard, which you can link away for Spirit of Ice Blue. You can get it back from the graveyard on your standby phase of the next turn, which is fantastic. So you can reset Drill Beam, you can reset Primate Dragon, Ether Barrel, and it's just a really nice control deck. You aren't trying to go crazy here, you're trying to get out a vanilla Blue Eyes on the field, you're trying to get Drill Beam out, and then rely on some hand traps. Another big thing that they added to Master Duel that makes Blue Eyes White Dragon decks so much more consistent is Dominus Purge. This is a hand trap that is essentially Ash Blossom for all intents and purposes. What it does is it turns off any fire monsters, and I can't remember exactly the other ones. I believe it's wind and, oh man, what is it? Fire, wind, and something else. I think it's dark monsters. I believe that's what it is. And Dominus Purge, once you've activated, if you activate it from the hand, that is, if you have it set, it doesn't do those things. But if you activate it from the hand, which you can if your opponent controls a card on the field, then it turns off the effects of fire monsters for the rest of the turn, which will knock out your Ash Blossom, which is going to likely be the only fire monster in your entire deck. But if you use them in tandem, if you have like both in hand, you need to use them both in the same turn. Essentially, you have double Ash Blossom. You use Ash Blossom first, then you use Dominus Purge, and you can stop a lot of boards with that. It's very, very difficult for a lot of boards to break through 3 hand traps for sure. So if you can, and 2 Ash Blossoms especially is going to kill a lot of hands straight up. I've seen a lot of people surrender right away because I Ash them, and then I Dominus Purge them, and then I'll throw out an Imperm or Effect Veiler, and then they're just done. I really like the hand trap method in Blue Eyes White Dragon decks. I think it really helps for the control. And then if you have something like Drill Beam on board, you just have a nigh on unbreakable board, honestly, in most circumstances. If you're able to also get out something like Hieratic Seal, a Link 2, if you're using 2 Dragon monsters, on their turn you can bounce back something to their hand. So if they use their normal summon, you bounce it back. They're kind of out of luck. They're not able to link it away. They're not able to extend. It's very, very nice. So it pairs extremely well with the Blue Eyes package I was already playing. I got rid of like the Magia package itself. So I got rid of like Ultimate Fusion. I got rid of Magia. I got rid of normal Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Instead paired it with Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate. So when I attach it with like Wishes for Eyes of Blue, and then cycle it off to either get Tyrant Dragon out, which is an extremely powerful monster, unaffected by traps and effect cards, then that can be really strong, or I get like the Spirit Dragon out. Then I have Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in the graveyard, so if any of my Blue Eyes monsters are targeted, I can instead negate that. I still run Jet in my deck. I have seen some other like pros talk about it and say like they omit Jet and just focus on having multiple Blue Eyes on the field, so you can use Majesty to pop things. I like having Jet on the field, just makes less things targetable. They have to really deal with Jet first, and that has made a lot of like hands really unplayable for my opponent. I just like having Jet out. I know it makes it a little less consistent for making sure Drill Beam is live or having 2 targets for Majesty instead of just 1, but I like having Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. Making him have to be the one that you target before you can target anything else on the field is just so fantastic. I love watching people make the mistake and trying to target my True Light while Jet is on the field and they don't target him first. I just absolutely love it. So Blue Eyes is how I've gotten to Master Rank. I'm in Master Rank 5. I am almost out of 5. I'm going into 4. You have to get 5 wins in these ranks instead of 4 like you previously did in the other ones. So that's making it a little bit more challenging. Everyone's playing much harder decks. I've run into like Makonko. I've run into not as many Fiendsmith. I figured that would be more standard the higher I got, but I'm running into less Fiendsmith despite how consistent it is and how good it is at extending. But I am finding more consistency with this deck. I haven't busted out Tenpai in a while, but when I was struggling in Diamond for a little bit, I would bust out Tenpai every now and again just to kind of clear my head, get things going, and win a couple games by making people frustrated. But I really like the Blue Eyes package, especially now that Primites are out. And I've seen a lot of wacky combos, people using Summon Skull Primite and like Harpy Lady Primite. Like there's a lot going on with Primite that makes like random cards really good or makes them like more valuable. So I really like that package. I just want to talk about it because I got really excited about getting into Master. It really honestly feels like a really hard feat. I've been trying for it for a long time. Getting into Diamond itself took a long time, and then finally figuring out this new package has just like been so much fun. I've been really having a ton of fun. I've gotten the learning curve. There's so many cards, so many decks that people will build that are really hard to deal with, because if you don't know how cards work or their effects and everything, or the traps that go along with the things like Dynamorphia was something I really had to learn because it's really ridiculous and crazy to deal with. Once you learn those things and you learn the nuances of Yu-Gi-Oh, it is a thinking man's game. It's annoying. It's a hand trap game for sure. I've seen people surrender after getting hit with 2 hand traps. It's annoying in that regard too, but it is a lot of fun too. When you get a lot of back and forth, I had one game that I'm going to be showing here. It's like a 6.5 minute game. It's really hard to like think about all of your moves and really like put them to task, make them break your board. And once you've figured out your control method, like I like to do, then you just win the game by like attrition and showing them that you can outthink them and outsmart them. I like that. I think Yu-Gi-Oh is really cool. I've always thought it was cool since I was a kid. I've always thought Blue Eyes was cooler than Dark Magician. I really like the Blue Eyes Primite deck. So if you're interested in Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel, I would highly recommend doing something that you like, because I dove into Blue Eyes right away, invested in Bistrels, and Bistrels work in a lot of packages. You can do that with the Blue Eyes package very easily. I've seen that run a lot. Just do what you like. Find something that you like, figure out a strategy that works, look at guides online, do whatever you need to do, and then just grind the game and have fun. Learn it. There'll be a lot of growing pains, but it is worth your time. I'm having a lot more fun with Master Duel now that I have figured things out and I've put in the time and the effort. So yeah, Master Duel is pretty cool. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.